All righty. Welcome. I am Heather Pierce Campbell, the legal website warrior. I'm an attorney and legal coach based here in Seattle, Washington, serving online information entrepreneurs throughout the US and the world. Welcome to another episode of Guts, Grit, and Great Business. I am so happy to have Morgana Ray here. Hello, Morgana.
Hello.
I believe my good friend JV Crum introduced us, right?
Oh,
JV
what a
Crum the
sweetheart.
third. Yes.
Yeah, I was on his show a couple of times, his Conscious Millionaire show.
Yes. So big shout out. We'll drop a link over to JV's show as well, but he's a
And
friend and
and and I'm one of those online entrepreneurs that Heather is talking about. Yeah.
excellent. Well, it's a community that I love. And within that community there are experts like yourself that bring so much to the table for others that are still, you know, putting the parts together, getting all the pieces of the puzzle in the right locations. And this money conversation is a big one. And you, I think, have a really unique approach to it. So folks, if you're listening, stick around. I think the money conversation is one of the most important conversations that we can be in, and it's a continuing conversation because so much mindset work, so much of our growth is tied up in this conversation, and they're just it's a gold mine. I think the
Mm.
things that we can learn about ourselves and about money. So for those of you that don't know Morgana Ray, Morgana Ray is the 20-time #1 international best-selling author of Financial Alchemy, right? If you're watching the video, she's holding up the book. I love it. 12 months of magic and manifestation. She has been a 7-figure spiritual life and business coach for over 30 years. Morgana's fans call her the money goddess because of the many documented stories of clients making unexpected income of 5, 6, and even 7 figures within hours of changing their relationship with money. Morgana has guided tens of thousands of entrepreneurs, artists, healers, and humanitarians to heal the rift between heart, spirit, and money, to save the world as only they can. Oh, I love that so much. Um, Morgana, I am super excited. It's been a little while since I've had a money conversation on the podcast, so this feels really timely for a lot of reasons. I would love to know more about your story and how money became the thing for you. Like why money? Why helping others in regards to money?
Well, helping others, that is easy for me. Like, I ran off to college and majored in religion. And then on top of that, the most obscure esoteric traditions of religion, not, money makers.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm really speaking primarily to the people who want to do good, the
Mm.
healers, the artists, the sensitive people, the people who put love first. Because we are the people who have the biggest challenges with money. Anybody can, you know, be a sociopath and do harm and just to make money. And there's like no inner conflict there. That's not our story.
Yeah.
So my story in particular is I went into coaching. Oh, let's get rid of that sound. Back up. My story is I went into coaching because I found for myself that helping others is honestly the easiest way to feel happy. The whole thing, create the world you want to live in. And I was having a lot of success for my clients as a coach, starting out in the entertainment industry where new actors were getting primetime TV series, first time director selling his film for $1 million, which was a lot of money at that time.
Mm.
And clients winning awards and all sorts of kind of almost magical things happening in a very short period of time, which made me really, really, really happy. And my challenge was charging for it. It would just bring up all sorts of anxiety and guilt and worry that I wouldn't deliver. So I would run off and get more certifications. I have about a dozen certifications, like
Right.
huge skill set. They're all in a closet somewhere. And I kept thinking, well, if I become a relationship coach, if I become a master trainer of neurolinguistic programming and Ericksonian hypnosis, and if I just add and add and add, then I won't feel uncomfortable charging.
Mm.
That didn't solve the problem. So I started taking all these classes on marketing and sales, and I took this class on overcoming sales objections, which is where you learn the magic words and quotation marks, right? Of what to say when somebody says, "Oh, I'd love to, but I can't," or, for whatever reason. And I'm a good student. I mean, I was hit by a car, thrown in a coma, woke up with a traumatic brain injury, couldn't remember anything, and I still graduated from college graduated from high school as a National Merit Scholar. So, like, if I have to study, by the way, I don't recommend that path
No,
for anybody. Don't get hit by a car.
no, don't.
Um,
Skip it. Skip it.
yeah, please. I've done it for you. You don't have to do it. But so I took the class, just like I take every class, and I would do what I was told, and I would do it. I would do my homework well. And here's the thing. So I take the class, I learn the magic words, I use them 7 people in a row. I overcame their objections. They said yes, they would hire me. And 7 people in a row did not show up for our first session or ever pay me. And that was around the time that I gave up hope. Now, here's the thing. East Coast college education, all these certifications, all these celebrity clients, and the deep, dark, dirty secret that I was so ashamed of was I was struggling to make $100 a month in Los Angeles.
Mm.
And I share that so that however bad you may feel about your situation at this moment, you can go, oh, well, at least you're better than I was. I hope. I really, really hope. And so I was doing all the mindset stuff because you mentioned mindset.
Yep.
And the millionaire mindset and the vision boards. And by the way, LA is sort of like the woo capital of the planet. So I have all these friends who would like wave their hands and talk codes and blow into my third eye and, change my money DNA. And none of it worked for me. Vision board, beautiful. So what? Mantras, so what? Affirmations, so what? I'm still making $100 a month, and even that's looking sketchy. And I'm borrowing money from credit cards, from family, and I'm having these fantastic results with clients when I have clients. But there's this, and people actually are reaching out to me. I'm speaking, I've got the brochures, I'm known. I have people want to hire me. And this thing would happen in the conversation that would make them disappear. And I didn't know what it was. So here I am, 7th person, doesn't show up, doesn't pay me. And I run out of hope. Like, I've done everything. I'm taking classes telling me to do what I'm already doing. Right. So not only am I not making money, but I'm spending more money. I'm flying out of town every weekend for like some next level training, and none of it's working. And so when the 7th person stood me up, it takes a lot to get me to give up hope, but that was it. And I remember in my little 1-bedroom apartment that I couldn't afford, getting like into my bedroom, pulling those blackout curtains, crypting out my bedroom, getting on my bed, lying down and just screaming and crying and wailing my heart out and raging, feeling hated by the universe, hating the universe back, really not seeing what the point was of me being here. So it was a very serious despair, dangerous.
Well, and I think you are highlighting in that one example the depths that this conversation around money can take people to when they can't figure it out, right? And how many people have been where you are, some version of it in this story that you just told, and just think, am I just destined to be bad at money? Am I just like, I can't hack it or I can't make it or there's something wrong with me?
Well, that's that last sentence. That's the
Yeah.
thing. That's the thing. Is there something wrong with me? And this is why money is such a big deal and
Yes.
so sticky. Like, we live in a time where people talk about their sex lives loudly in public places, right? But money is this kind of hush hush taboo topic, and
Yeah.
for a reason. It really represents our very right to exist. It's
Mm,
how we are measured, our value. Are we wanted? Are we respected? Are we loved?
mm,
Like our original relationship with money is our parents, because they told us whether we were loved, whether we were safe, whether we were valued or not. And then if you had great parents, yay, but something else happened that rejected you and made you feel worthless. Or maybe, and it, and things that really don't look like they have to do with money. I'm really jumping out of sequence, but it'll all come back and it'll all make sense. Things like accidents. Remember, I was hit by the car and in a coma, and then I was
yes.
homeless. I was
Yeah.
homeless my last year and a half of high school.
Mm,
Uh, so all that insecurity or insecurity in your family history, slavery, genocide, all that kind of stuff that makes the world feel unsafe is going to show up in your relationship with money. So we talk about money, but it's really not money. It's what money represents. So
and is this really quick? Is this conversation, do both men and women have this
yes,
same relationship to money and what you're talking about?
at the core, yes.
Yeah.
Uh, it will be a little bit different. Um, and for example, for men, women are allowed to be pretty, right? And marry into money or something like that, right?
Mm,
And society is like high five. And men don't really have that option. So if a man doesn't make money, he believes that he's not worthy of love. And he will
that's
get
right.
a lot of reinforcement from women or whoever he's dating that that's true.
Mm.
So men's wounds around money really, really deep, to the core of like
Well, I was gonna
what we
say,
collectively say is their worth and value as a human being.
yeah, it seems, and even observing, in my experience, and I work with a lot of men and women in my work, that what you said, it seems to be a larger core wound for men because of the conversation I think that we have in society and men being seen, still, even still, I
Yeah.
think they carry that weight of primary provider and, things that go along with the biology of being man.
Well, it's castrating. And
Mm,
I wouldn't say anybody's wound is bigger, because for women, money represents also, and the same for men too, but it's just slightly different
different.
flavors
Mm,
because of, societal ideas and judgments. But for us, like, are we loved? Are we worthy of
mm.
love? Are we valued? And huge, are we safe?
Yes, that I was gonna
And
say the
the
safety.
safety can show up
Mm,
even louder for women.
mhm,
And so I like to say change happens at the speed of safety.
mm,
And if change isn't
mm.
happening, that means something isn't safe. And our job is to find out what that is. And I will guide you through that. I'm going to finish my story and then I'm going to come back and unpack it and explain to you how you can make money fall in love with you, how you can have this really safe
Mm,
and kind and loving relationship with money as a partner who chooses you over everybody in the world. And when you move forward with that relationship, then you don't have any reason to protect yourself from it. And all of your actions, that's when they reap fruit. And the actions that you took years ago, it's wild actions that you've been doing for years and years and years that haven't yielded anything. That's when it yields fruit. So
mm.
in my story, I have this dark night of the soul where it's like, I am ready to take my ball and leave the planet. And you know what that means. And I just, honestly, I just cried and raged myself empty,
Yeah.
which is, and kind of, you know, you let yourself fall to the bottom of the pool, which is a good place to be because then you have only one
One way to
way
go.
up.
Mm.
And when I just kind of cried myself empty, I had two thoughts. And the first one was, well, maybe money needs to be my area of my next area of spiritual growth.
Mm.
That doesn't mean it that you don't have to have that question. That's just like, I am from LA. Look at, you know, how I dress. And, you know, spirituality is kind of inner water here. So maybe if I take, ooh, scary, icky, problematic money and hide it in the spiritual box, maybe then I can deal with it.
Ah.
But also because spiritual growth is really attractive to me. That's where I play. The second thought that I had, I think, is what actually started to move the needle, which is I wondered what is going on inside of me that can't be with money
Mm.
because it didn't make sense on paper. Like I was doing everything. I had the marketing, I had the tagline, I had the website, I had the speaking gigs, I had people wanting to hire me. Something really didn't make sense. And it was like, what is inside of me that can't be with money?
Mm.
So fast forward to my next call with my coach, which is crazy to say because I'm making $100. I can't pay for anything. And I'm still working with a coach. Thank goodness, because that saved my life.
Mm.
And ironically, this coach and I graduated the same day. That's how we met each other, was flying up to San Rafael to, you know, do our oral exams and all that stuff. But he had a house and I'm struggling to make $100 a month. So I hired him. And for months, I was doing everything he suggested and nothing was changing. And it wasn't his fault. And this session I came and I just vomited like all of my despair and rage and futility.
Mm.
By the way, coaches love it when you do that because it gives us something to work with. So,
Right. Well, they can
right?
see the truth of it, right?
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, now we have a problem.
Yes.
And it also gives leverage. It's like the answer presents itself when we get the problem. So here's what happened with this coach, because every other session I was like, okay, coach, tell me what to do. I'm gonna, you know, good student, A student, and nothing, flop, splat, disappointment. So this time I just like vomit out my existential angst. And he responds with this really weird question that he had never asked before, that he had never thought before, that totally changed my life. And he said to me after hearing, he asked me, if your money was a person, who would your money be? And because I was in like so much pain and despair and rejection and all the ugly feelings, when he
Mm.
asked me that, I instantly saw in my mind's eye this big, scary, dirty, violent biker dude, like bald head, long sideburns, white beater shirt, tattoos. I have nothing against bikers or bikers who look like that, but this one was just, I could feel all bad,
Yep.
like
Scary.
menace, harm, danger, full alert,
Mm.
like every cell of my being wants distance. And I had this instant awareness. Like I imagined I was at a live event with this guy and my eye would be on him all the time to create maximum distance.
Mm.
And that was my big light bulb moment, that no matter what I was doing consciously, unconsciously, I was creating distance as if my life depended on it.
Mm.
And by the way, I was not insane or wrong to do so.
Yeah.
Lots of really bad, rejecting, exploitative things happened when I was growing up that I compartmentalized and didn't deal with
Mm.
as a way of coping and surviving. Healthy decision,
Yep.
but it was playing out that money was dangerous, caused harm, hated me, got in the way of love,
Mm.
all that stuff. And so as soon as I saw that this was my relationship with money, who knew, right?
Yeah.
it was really clear that I could never have money in my life if it was that guy.
Totally.
Right.
Mhm.
So that relationship had to end. And at that time, this was March of 2003, I broke up with him, like breaking up with a bad boyfriend. That's not what I teach now. I've coached thousands of clients. Tons and tons of millionaires have started at zero and made millions of dollars with me. So I know more now than I did then. And I'm going to try to catch you up as I go along when we go back through the steps, and I'll take you through the steps. So,
No, I love it. I think that what people are hearing in your story is like, oh my gosh, this woman is human. I think somebody might show up and see your experience and your success and even the word magic and be like, oh, well, that's not me. But you've just described a very human, relatable experience that I think most people have in some version at some point when they're getting really serious about money.
that's the point of sharing my story. And yeah, I talk a really good woo game, but I am really practical too.
Hmm.
In fact, everything that in my process, one of my clients is a neuroscientist, and she just keeps sending me articles that explain why my process
Oh,
works.
I love it. You're like, see?
Yeah, so like I can talk to the Wall Street Journal and I can talk
Mhm.
to Pagan Fair. I just adjust to the audience. And I've been at both. So, okay. Uh so it was clear that I couldn't have money in my life if it was this guy,
Mhm.
because to my subconscious, it's imaginary. Like this guy is not a real guy in my life, but to my subconscious, it was very real. And this is a way of talking, communicating between my conscious mind and my unconscious mind to find out what's going on. So in that relationship, yay, new problem. I live in LA and now I have no relationship with money. And if you've ever ended a bad relationship, this is the moment in the movie where I go and get a really bad haircut, cut it all off. And you don't want to go back into that situation ever again.
Right? Anybody who's
So,
ever cut their own bangs, yes.
oh, the pixie cut. It it took years to recover from that. So anyway, I live in LA. I needed a relationship with money and I wanted something. I felt as soon as I imagined breaking up with the monster, I felt like this huge empty space around me. Like I never even knew I had the relationship, but once it was gone, it was like
Mhm.
being a fish without water, like
Mm.
empty. And I didn't want him to come back. So I knew that I needed a new relationship. And here's deep, fundamental philosophy of mine as a coach is we never, ever, ever take anything away without putting
Mm.
something better there.
Right? It's like trying to build a new habit, stopping a bad one and creating a better one. You can't
Yeah.
just tell yourself you're gonna stop doing X without
Yeah. You have
replacing
to
it.
find something you like better. Like you don't
Yes.
take away cigarettes without having something that satisfies the need that the cigarette served. And I also don't believe any of that. It takes 21 days. No, it doesn't. If you've been sitting in traffic for years to get to work and you find a quicker, easier way, you don't
Mm.
need to practice that 21 times. You will just always take the quicker, easier way.
I love that.
So, so I asked myself, who could I have as my new relationship with money? Who could my new money be? Who would I want so much that I'd be willing to have a relationship with this person, even though it's money? Because like money was always like this constant conversation of not good enough,
Mhm.
just not safe, rejection. You said earlier something wrong with you. I think that's the deepest level of wound that every human being has,
Totally.
some variation of that. And so I asked myself, well, who could I want so much that I'd want this person in my life, even if it's money? Like, I'd allow money in my life if it's this person. And because I started with so much pain, and because that money monster person was so real to me and it was so completely gone, as soon as I asked that question, a new person showed up in my mind's eye. By the way, I'm a terrible visualizer. Just for all the other, club of bad visualizers here. If you ask me to imagine sitting by a river, I will spend the next 45 minutes running a slideshow of every river I've ever seen, trying to decide what river I'm sitting by, right? So visual is the absolute least important piece of the process. Feeling is much more important. Thoughts, words, meaning. Smell is more important. Visual, the least important. It's fun when you get it. So in this moment, I happen to get this tall, dark, handsome, super cute, sweet, clean-cut, romantic guy dressed in a tuxedo, holding a bouquet of red flowers, as if he was taking me out to the theater, who was in love with me and wanted to woo me. And that was my new ready-made relationship with money, what I now call the money honey. I didn't come up with that. I was teaching a training to a bunch of life coaches in San Diego in 2005. And one of the life coaches stood up and yelled out who her money honey was. And I just kept that forever.
No, and I
So,
love it. And for context, because I actually meant to read this at the beginning, you've got
yeah.
like a little one sentence summary, right? And this is again about Morgana, a pioneer in personal development for over 30 years. Morgana Ray is widely regarded to be the world's leading authority on transforming relationship with money from a monster to a honey. I read that and I laughed and I was like, oh, that makes it feel fun, right?
Mhm.
That feels nice. Let's go down that pathway.
Yeah, well, all that anxiety that we have around money is the monster part. And
Yeah,
I'm gonna wrap it up really quick, and then I will take you through the process as deeply as I can, a little bit of time that we have, and I'll show you where to get more.
totally.
Um, for free if you want to. I always, wherever you are on your journey, I always want to have something for everybody to move
Yes.
forward. So let's see. Okay, cute guy, money honey, in love with me, wants to woo me. Great. And every solution has the seed of its next problem. So yay, he wants to be with me. And oh heck, I have no idea how to allow money to be with me in like the big way that he wants to be with me. I'm like, whoa, I don't have any practical like body experience. How do I do that? I know how to push it away. Like I would be an Olympic champion, or I would be a superhero with big R on my chest for repulsion of
Oh my
money.
gosh. And
Um,
how many times have you heard people say, like, even if I earn it, suddenly new bills pop up and it's gone, right?
I have coached clients living on couches on public
Mm,
assistance, and I have coached billionaires afraid of losing what they have and seeing that their money is getting in the way of their relationships, especially with their
mm,
kids. Everybody, well, I won't say everybody, but everybody has something.
yeah.
I like to say that life, there are three spiritual teachers in life, or three primary spiritual teachers in life, which is love, money, and health.
Mm,
And at some point, any one of them is going to get our attention. If money is the spiritual teacher for you right now, yay, because that will get your attention faster than any of the others, because money touches all of it. Your
yes.
access to healthcare.
Yes.
So uh cute guy wants to be with me, new problem. I don't know how to let this adorable sweetheart be with me.
Mm,
So I ask. This is the great thing about making money a person. You ask a question, you get an answer back, because that's the way the brain works. And because the voice is coming from this beautiful, sweet, trustworthy, swoon-worthy other person who's in love with you, the response is not going to be bogged down with all of your neurotic baggage. So it's kind of like a hack to
mm,
your highest wisdom. If we're going to get all sciency, what we're doing is we are creating this sense of love and safety and well-being that relaxes you, lets the limbic reptile reactive brain step down, like stop driving the bus, and the frontal lobe, the genius zone, that's when you wake up. And that's when you get your really good ideas. So you can take a look at your life circumstances in all of its drama with this imaginary money honey, and you look at it through your money honey's eyes, and it looks different. You make better choices with business partners, clients, business ventures, romantic partners. For years, my money honey told me to hold out for somebody who loves me as much as my imaginary money honey does. And I did. So now I have my human honey. By the way, I used the same process to get rid of my love monster in 2012. And we've now, I met him when I was 45. We got married for the first time. I got married for the first time in my whole life when I was already 47, 10 years ago. And we've been married, I say 26 times. He says 27 times in 21 countries. It's hard to keep track. We're heading towards 100. He and I are going to have to go down through the weddings and really get our numbers right. And this is, again, you know, like when change happens at the speed of safety. I had very good reasons to protect myself from love, and I had to create a love monster and get rid of that. So I asked my money honey, what do you need from me to allow you to be with me? And the reason I asked that was I had this sense of like, wow, I have the body. He wants to be with me. It feels like he's always been there wanting to be with me, and I've been pushing him away, and I don't know how to stop. So I asked, because I have the body. I'm the gatekeeper, not money. So I said, what do you need from me to allow you to be with me the way you already want to be with me? And play that over and over again when you listen to the podcast, and you can write it down and you can steal it. Like, I'm not holding back secrets. I am really trying to cram everything I can in the time we have. And so I asked this question and he responded. And in that moment, in March something of 2003, my first conversation with my first money honey, he said, I just need you to love me. And he said that with such heartbreaking vulnerability, and to stop treating me like a monster. And that seemed really fair. And I thought of, how have I been treating him like a monster? And I became aware for the first time of how every time clients would ask me, how do you work? They meant, what do you charge?
Yeah.
And not like, how do you coach? They want, every time they asked me what I charged, and I would go, and I would feel shame and worry, and whether they could hear it or not, they could feel it.
Yes.
And that's what was pushing them away, because I was like, it was like money was this huge, snarly, stinky monster that I was ashamed of.
Right. You're closing the door on it.
Right. And they didn't want my monster. And when I realized that, like, how mean I was being to money, I just felt so sad, because this guy, the cute one, was like really lovely and shared my values and wanted to save the world with me the way, and instead of money to harm. It was like, we understood anything I did to make money was gonna be in alignment with my values. I never have to hurt anybody for that. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do it. So he told me that he wanted me to love him and stop treating him like a monster, which is kind of abstract. So to really make it concrete and give him what he needed to be with me, I made a commitment that next time he brought me a gift, I would say thank you. So what does that look like? That was, at that time, a client wants to hire me. Yay. So my way of saying thank you is, this is my fee, with the energy of, look at this beautiful guy. And so the punchline is, over the next couple of days, 4 people reached out to me from out of the blue and hired me for double what I had ever charged before in my life. And they kept coming and coming and coming and coming, so that I started having wait lists. I started doing groups. I started doing my retreat in Bali, and I wrote my book.
Mm.
And one of my favorite clients of all time, I'm going to hold it up for the camera because, I come from Los Angeles and this is what you do on
Right.
a
And
commercial.
exactly. And this is the Financial Alchemy book, 12 months of
Magic and
magic
manifestation.
and manifestation. There it
There
is.
are two. One of them has dark hair because I used to have dark hair when I was under 57.
You
And
still look like a baby. Yes.
thank you.
Mhm.
Um, so the first one came out in 2012. 2013 officially was the launch. And then 2022, I thought, oh, I've got a 10-year anniversary coming up. I should relaunch the book. Also,
Totally.
what I've coached so many people over that decade and to such bigger amounts of money than ever before. My understanding of the work, even in that decade, evolved, and what I said changed. So I just had to update the book. So you can get the brown hair, the blonde hair. I like the blonde hair because it's more current. It sounds more like what I'm saying now, and it has more. I threw in a couple more bonuses in the book.
Oh, I love
Uh,
it.
yeah. So, okay. Say thank you. Where was I? 4 new clients.
Yep.
And I have to say that the first time I could, where, somebody says, what do you charge? And I say the amount. What happens is you get silence on the other end because the person's figuring out where to come up with the money to pay.
Yep.
And honestly, it really wasn't that much money, but to me it was. And I could feel my throat and my tongue wanting to go into that old pattern of shoving a sample
Mhm.
session down their throat, even though this person had already had a sample session months ago, right? And I had to just learn how to bite my tongue and sit on my hands and say nothing. Toughest
Mhm.
skill in the world. Uh, but then the second time it got a little easier and a little easier. So you get like, you, you said that I share my humanity. I want to
Mhm.
normalize being human, and that
Yeah.
you don't have to be perfect to be wildly successful because you aren't going to be perfect.
Yeah.
It's not a requirement of life. Just do the best you can and help people and love yourself.
Mm. I love it. I love it. Well, and
Can
this
I
I
share this? Oh,
totally. No, I was just going to say the idea of this showing up as a gift, like somebody wanting to give you money. My sister and I have a practice that I started years ago, and I heard it from somewhere else. I wish I could remember where, of just any time that over any little thing. Yes, thank you, universe, more please. Like, how fun is this, right? And it does really infuse that experience with more fun.
yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, think of money as a partner who really, really loves you. And if you keep rejecting his or her or their gifts, how that hurts. And I had about a year later, after I changed my relationship with money, and I had all these clients. Towards December the next year, they started disappearing. The money started disappearing. I don't often share the story, but it was really shocking to me because I thought I had this licked. I had a cute money honey. No problem. I will never have any problem ever again. I will never have to grow or learn. Nailed. He's cute.
Done.
Problem
Check.
over, right? And then it wasn't.
Mm,
And finally, I had to really just have a frank conversation with this imaginary money honey. Like, why are you abandoning me? And he pointed out that several times that year, clients told me they couldn't pay me. And I said, that's okay. You'll pay me when such and such happens. And then such and such happened. And they still didn't pay me. And I didn't say anything. And what I was doing was I was saying the money didn't matter. I was
mm.
cheating on him with people who didn't value me. And after about 4 times, he got the message and he just kind of slunk away, brokenhearted. And when I got that message and I realized that I just felt terrible. Not like I'm a bad person, but like, I
You
can't
didn't
believe I've
see
been
it.
such a terrible relationship partner. How can I make amends?
Mm.
And he told me, you have to call all those people who owe you money and tell them that they need to pay you. Now, honestly, if I wanted to have, if I enjoyed that kind of conversation, I would have done that. I was like, oh,
This
but
whole
I didn't.
boundaries
Ugh.
conversation, right?
We
So
never
many,
had those in my family.
no, so many boundaries we get to learn about in
Yeah.
business. Mm.
So I called them each,
Mm.
and I got paid part of what I was owed by one of them.
Mm.
And my income quadrupled from other sources.
Mm.
So, you know, I never know for myself or for my clients where the money is going to come, when, or how much.
Yeah.
Wild things happen. Uh, but as one of my favorite clients likes to say, that, you know, the love comes first and the cash follows the love.
Mm.
Oh, and I was going to mention about the book. One of my favorite clients was in her second year of doing the book, because the first half is book, lots and lots of words, and the second half is a manifestation journal,
It looks
which
like
is a
worksheets. Yeah, if
right.
you're not
It's
watching, it's like worksheets.
yeah, it's a fancy kind of magicalized strategic planning. So I'm combining like coaching
Yeah.
that I would do with a senior executive, but I add some fairy dust to it to make it fun and easy, because it's the system I created for myself to get results. And then I would always overachieve what I set for myself. And that's why I created the book. Was part of it is the information, the transformation, and to guide you, hold your hand through it, and then how to keep it going. Because anybody who's ever had a relationship with a human being knows that that takes nonstop work for the rest of your life. It doesn't always feel like work, but there are moments where, ooh, something's sticky, we have to work through it. It's a lot easier to do that with a human being who has a body.
Mm-hmm.
It's harder to maintain a relationship with an imaginary friend. So this book is to keep you on track and keep you connected to what you want to achieve and who you want to be, and in your relationship with your money, honey. So the 6 steps,
Mm-hmm.
and
Let's
I
hear 'em.
shared all of them in the story, but I learn very linear and then I teach it very nonlinear. So for all of my linear buddies here, there are 6 steps always. The first step is uncover the root cause of your money drama. Now, we could also say it's the root cause of your love drama or your health drama, or,
Mm.
because these are the core pains and tender spots of being a human being. But in my experience, coaching many thousands of people, I have never, ever in my life found the money monster in money.
Mm.
The money story is a great place to begin, but that's not. And by the way, lots of people out there saying, change your money story, change your life. It's great, great marketing. It has never worked in my coaching experience, because it's not the money. Money is just made up. It's what the money represents. And I was talking about that earlier.
Yep.
It represents love. Are you loved and lovable? It represents worth. Are you worthy?
Mm.
Are you valued? And it represents safety.
Yes.
Are you safe? Does the world want you here? You
Mm.
know, do you do you have a right to exist?
Mm.
Money represents all those things. It's really, really deep core stuff.
Yes, it
So
is.
step number 1 is, wherever your pain is around love, worth, or safety, go for that. You can start with the money, but keep going. Keep going deeper. And we're going for feelings. It's not an intellectual exercise. That's not where change happens. We're again working with the subconscious. We're working with the emotions. We're working with trauma. You do not need to re-traumatize yourself. Totally not necessary. But I just want you to build up a case against your own life, kind of like a case against the universe, as if you're a lawyer going to court against God, saying, this is wrong, this shouldn't have happened. And you start with yourself, but you can also include stuff in the world, the stuff that wakes you up in the middle of the night, all the things that make the world not a safe place, not a fair place, not a living place. to you. Make it very personal. And when you've built up what I call a critical mass of ick, again, you don't have to go so far that you dissociate. You don't need to re-traumatize yourself. You just need to feel like this is horrible. No wonder, whatever, and then you blame every bad thing on this imaginary entity that we will call your money monster. And I'm going to give you some tips right now. Start with the feeling. How big is it? Does it feel hot or cold? What does it smell like? What does it think of you? What does it want to do to you? It must be all bad. It cannot be your parents. It cannot be you. If you want to see it after you have felt how big it is, if it's hot or cold, what it smells like, what it thinks, and also take the meanest thing you've ever said to yourself in your life and put it in that monster's mouth. You weren't thinking it. Your monster was getting in your head, making you think these things, believe these things about yourself. Then what does it fingernails look like? Its teeth, its eyes, its hair. Ooh. When it feels real enough and it's all bad, that's step number one. Step number two is you annihilate it by any means necessary. This is why it's not your parents and it's not you and it's not anybody in your life right now. Okay. Maybe it is based on a person in your life. Maybe it's somebody in history or somebody completely random, like my biker dude. Doesn't matter. It just gives it a reality.
Right. Embodies it.
And then annihilate it, blow it up, whatever. By the way, I don't watch horror movies. I turn away during violent scenes. I'm not into that.
I can't do it either. I can't do it.
But here I'm like, kill the monster. There's like, especially if you've had victim experiences, especially women who were not supposed to get angry or do any of that stuff. There's so much power because step number one was really like taking off your superhero hat and putting on your victim hat and really experiencing the times you've been victimized in your life, because there's so much latent power, motivation in that. It's sacred. You've already paid the price of admission with your pain and suffering. Let's milk it, take it to the bank. And the way we do that is step one, uncovering that pain. And that takes you into the victim experience. Now you are rising up as the superhero and annihilating the monster. Everything that you don't want in your life experience, you put that in the monster and you reject it. And you blow it up. And some clients, have used lightsabers and machetes and atom bombs and fiery pits, and one of them drove over her monster with a monster truck. I thought that was really cool. Whatever, it doesn't matter until it's gone and there's no trace. It's very binary. It's like pregnancy. It is or it isn't.
Yep.
When the monster is not there, you know it, then you have that empty space. It feels different. It may feel great. It may feel light. It may feel expansive. It may feel scary. All of that's great. Perfect. It's different. That is step number three. Oh, okay. Uncover the root cause.
Uncover the cause of the drama.
Personify the root causes the monsters too. Number three is annihilate the monster by any means necessary. Now it's all gone. Pardon my stuttering. Now we go to step four. This is the fun part. There is a fun part. Now you get to meet your money honey. When the monster is gone, when everything that you don't want in your existence has been put into the monster and rejected and annihilated, all that remains is love. All that remains is love. And we give personhood to that love. And we call that love, that loving person, we're going to call that loving person money, because money is that area of our life that needs our love and healing. As individuals and as a species.
Yes.
It needs to be love-based, because then we will do loving things with it. So this is a person who loves you and is worthy of your love and trust, who shares your values, who wants to save the world with you. and loves you more than anybody in the world. And if you've never, ever, ever had a safe, healthy, loving relationship in your life, because I've coached that many times with clients, this becomes the blueprint for your relationships moving forward. Your relationships will be better because this is the standard. This person, whoever comes into your life, must love you and respect you and appreciate you, or your money honey is going to say no.
Yep.
So now you meet your money honey. Again, I let, where are you going to meet the person, set the stage, change the neurology? What does it smell like? What does it look like? What do you hear? And now your money honey is walking towards you. He, she, they, whatever your flavor, it all works. Now you meet your money honey, and now you have your first conversation. And my first conversation was, what do you need from me to allow you to be with me the way you so deeply want to be with me? Or as big as you want to be with me. And then you listen for the answer. This is now we're at step 5. Meeting money honey is 4. Step 5 is having a conversation, a dialogue with your money honey. What your money honey is probably going to say will be very kind of vague and Yoda-like. It'll be something like, I want you to love yourself. I want you to trust. I want you, this is the worst. I want you to relax. No woman alive wants to hear that.
Well, and ding, 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 back to the safety conversation, right? Because it's the same in health. Change happens at the speed of safety.
All of it.
Same in health. Yes.
Well, I've had some really dramatic health miracle stories with clients in past years. One of the things about the money honey is that the money, for this to be a real money honey, you feel safe with this person.
Yeah.
We were talking about the difference between men and women. Women, when we meet our money honey, it's like, oh my God, I can finally relax. Like this, I can just fall into his arms and be held. And for men, what's so cool, and again, it's like gay, straight, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But men are like, their shoulders puff up, and their money honey is like, you slayed the monster for me, my hero. And he's like, yes, I did. And men get to experience themselves as the hero that they always wanted to be, and they really, really are. Underneath all the bad programming that they got, this is who they really are, which is a hero who chooses love.
Yeah.
Who slayed a monster. And men's monsters, I
wondered what the difference is between women and men's monsters.
There are always exceptions, but generally speaking, men's monsters tend to be really hard to kill, really bad. Because that's what they need to experience to know themselves as heroes and warriors.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they do. I've never, ever, ever in my life had a client who did not successfully slay their monster. That's my job, is I will just outlast whatever monster you send me. And usually we can get the whole thing done in like 90 minutes, but sometimes it takes 7 hours. It just depends on what the person needs. But the client who was 7 hours then made $1.2 million 6 weeks later. And remember, I was telling you about the thing that she'd been doing years and years and years and not seeing any profit or any shift. It was like after we slayed that really hard to get rid of monster and got her money honey, everything shifted. And the things that didn't work before suddenly came to fruition. And I've seen that a lot. And it's only taken that long once. But if I do a VIP day, I allow enough time for the worst. And then fill it with other great stuff.
Yeah.
Expect the best, but be ready for whatever client needs. So anyway, step 5, have that conversation with your money honey. And then number 6 is, now this is where we get practical, because saying, I need you to love yourself, or I need you to trust or relax, is aspirational and great advice. And there's nobody in the history of humanity who has been able to love themselves 24/7 always, be relaxed always, trust always. That's a great direction, but you can't win that.
No.
So number 6, the final step is concrete measurable action. Like I can call you Thursday and ask, did you do it? And what concrete, measurable physical action can you take to demonstrate to yourself that you are in a new relationship?
Mm.
And it is embodying the change, because up until now it's kind of all in the ethers, woo. And now we want to make it real and in your body. Action is magical. If you want physical, real world results, you need to take some kind of physical, real world action. Even magic spells have that component. So, and here's the funny thing, because I'm trying to cram 21 years of coaching.
Right.
It's not going to happen, relax. But
Mm.
the action doesn't necessarily even look like it has to do with money. Like sometimes a client will, her money honey will go, you know, balance your checkbook, do your taxes. And then she'll come back, oh my God, doing my taxes is like foreplay. But sometimes it's something totally different. Like I love to share the story of my client, Catherine, in Canada, where her money honey wanted her to go skating in Toronto in December, where it's very, very cold. So I hear from my, you know, cushy Los Angeles abode. And that was just like, her money honey was so excited and turned on by, yes, go skating. And so here's the funny thing is, and then she didn't do it. Like we slayed her money monster, all sorts of Holocaust terrifying stuff. We had this great money honey. It was very real. And she agrees to go skating, and then she doesn't keep her word. Because she's so stressed about money, that she's so busy trying to make money, that she doesn't go skating. So day number 1 goes by and she doesn't go skating and nothing happens. Day number 2 goes by, doesn't go skating, is all worried about money, nothing happens. Day number 3, I think it was a Friday, she takes her 10-year-old son, they go to the skating rink, they have a wonderful time, like heart connection, really beautiful, yummy time. She comes home, gets a phone call offering her $10,000.
Yeah.
Similar story with another client, Janet. It's not, and again, I never say, do this and the money will come up that fast. It happens a lot, but I also believe that, I'm just going to say, divine timing,
Yeah.
not convenient timing. Things happen, you know, if it isn't happening right away, maybe because it's supposed to happen bigger.
Yeah.
Or
Well, and
maybe there's something for you to learn and grow.
that's right. I think what that last piece of the story with, I think her name was Catherine, and the skating, it's also, you know, this whole thing of being in flow and allowing things to show up is also about you paying attention to that intuition, paying attention
Mm,
to those little hunches that say, do this, right? And so sometimes we just need to practice paying attention, and then the universe goes, okay, you're paying attention.
yeah. I I love that you're also talking about the universe.
You know, it's been a practice. And in my adult life, I think, I mean, there's been a lot of things that contribute to my recognition that there is something beyond me at work out there. And I've learned at times how to turn things on like a light switch, where it is literally saying to the universe, okay, I'm ready, but then taking action consistent with that readiness, right?
Yeah.
Where it's not just me. It's not, you know, something else, and we'll call it magic, call it whatever you want, but it's I think you have to demonstrate that aspect of paying attention.
And sometimes the money comes from where you think it's going to come from. And sometimes it comes way bigger than you thought it would come from where you thought it was going to come from. But I would say just as often it comes from some other direction that you never saw.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so whenever I talk about relationship with money, I'm really talking about relationship with life.
Yeah.
That's all any of this is relationship with yourself and relationship with life. And money is such a central part of life. I mean, it's the number one excuse we humans give for everything we can't have, do, or be. So we need to get into a better relationship with money, to get into a better relationship with life. And then we show up more powerful and more resourceful and even more magical. And I use the word magic to explain things that happen synchronistically that are just like bigger, faster, easier, unexpected.
Yeah.
They can't really be explained.
Yes.
Coincidences. I'm like a queen of coincidences.
I love it. It's you know, in some fun way, I think for so many humans that feel this pressure to do it all themselves, to create the momentum, to, you know, generate the income, you know, it's language like that. Create, generate, dig in, accomplish. It can be like so much more fun. This idea that, you know, it's really about doing the inner work and then having things show up in alignment with that progress.
And what if money likes to have fun?
Yes,
You know?
yes, I know. And how fun to be able to adopt that as a like a what if or a new experiment, because I think
Yeah.
for a lot of people, until they get to the point of deciding that money should feel differently, it does not feel fun.
Well, we will protect ourselves from the danger. We will
Yeah.
from the pain.
Mhm,
And whether it's a health monster or a love monster or a money monster, uh,
mhm.
we need to change that dynamic so that we aren't unconsciously pushing away what we actually want and need.
Yeah.
And to like steal from Buddhism, yeah, religion major here. Um, what I really loved about that religion was this, and it came from Hinduism before, this idea that the universe is inherently compassionate and loving, and that all of our challenges that are happening for us to evolve
Mhm.
and ultimately achieve salvation, liberation, freedom from suffering, and complete oneness with wisdom and God,
Yeah.
whatever tradition you want to interpret that to. So we're not making money God, because that gives your power away and
Yeah.
that creates a new money monster. Money is not going to be God. Money is not going to be Santa Claus. We're not going to make money up here and you down there. What I love about making it like this lover type,
Mhm,
or just, a peer, is that you're equal and you
mhm,
have the body. So you have the power to break your money honey's heart. And
mhm,
your money isn't going to go out and do it for you while you sit on the couch. It's not that kind of law of attraction thing. It's really, you have the body. You are here to do what you're here to do. And money is here to help you fulfill your potential and be the youest you, which is the best you.
mhm,
And that is, I like to say that the purpose of money is to serve love and lifestyle and legacy.
mhm.
Those are really the only reasons to have money. And any use of money that isn't serving that becomes some kind of perversion and some kind of monster. So this is your partner in creating a life that is centered on quality love, quality lifestyle, and quality legacy
Mm,
to
so
make the world a
good.
better place.
Yeah, it's so good. And it's, you know, really quick, and I want to be respectful of your time because we got to get folks directed your way. But this concept of love and combining love with work, I think some people find that challenging. And you even look in like more traditional industries, right? We work with a lot of independent entrepreneurs, creators, people in holistic health and are very service oriented, right? But there's a lot of those folks running around in the world too. Like my
Mhm.
sister's in sales and she got feedback from her manager who came and did a visit with her and got to go around and see all her local clients, and my sister's really good at what she does, like very, very good. And her manager said to her like, your clients love you. Like, not just appreciate you as a good sale, like they love you. Like I can tell they want to like hang out with you outside of work stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought it's so fun to hear how people can show up that powerfully to their work and create that kind of impact, which is so different than just, you know, treating things the regular way, like you've got a job to do. It's just a very different paradigm.
20 years ago, I coached a new coach. It was kind of mentor who saw me speak. And he was already a multimillionaire. He had made millions of dollars in the music industry and then woke up one day and decided, whoa, this is not in alignment with my values. I want to help people. So he sold his company and became a coach and had one client who was paying him $25 a month and would only coach with them at 6 a.m. in the morning. And this was so early in my journey that this was my first time coaching a wealthy person who had a bad relationship with money, because in his instance, the way his money monster was hurting him was that he could only make money doing what he hated, betraying his values. And so we had to slay that monster and come up with a new money honey who loved him and loved this whole thing called coaching. And he went on to make multiple millions of dollars, like multiple millions a year as a life coach.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, it's such a shift in paradigm, and we all need to make it in some way or another. And so I love this so much. I know we could keep talking. We've already taken you over time. Morgana Ray, I love just the depth of your story, all of the nuance of it. It's such a special thing to be able to peek inside and I know that, it's a fun story to listen to, but it's also such a big story for all of us to engage with in our own lives. And so I really appreciate you breaking it down into steps. We will make sure that we pop those steps into the show notes as well, but also link over to all of the ways that people can get in contact with you. Where do you like to show up? Where would you invite our listeners to reach out to you?
The best place to go is my website, which is the mothership of all my stuff, morganaray.com. It's like so easy, just my name, no spaces.com. I used to have a fancier abundanceandprosperity.com, but it turned out everybody was searching for me on my name. So that's my website. And just hundreds of questions over the years that have come in from people that I answer on my blog. Because I try to be as thorough as I can, but my best material comes from what you come up against. Like the great thing about clients is human beings are infinitely resourceful at coming up with new obstacles that I'd never seen before. And that evolves the work, and it's so much more interesting than anything I have to say. So you have my blog. There's a 4-part money magnetic video series on the homepage. There's also my money love quiz, which is a great way to get kind of curated suggestions for your next step based on how you respond. There's like no bad scores, no bad answers. And I always have choices of free stuff, of low cost stuff, of higher cost stuff, and coaching for wherever you are. We're all on the same journey to love, lifestyle, and legacy.
Yeah, I love it.
MorganaRay.com. And my book is on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and anywhere you want to get a book.
Yeah, we'll share links to that as well.
That's why we have our
talking
drinks
for an hour and 10 minutes, right? Well, I'm super excited to share your links, and we will definitely invite people over to check out your video series, your book. I love free stuff. I give a ton away myself. And for folks that are thinking like, what if I wanted to work with Morgana? How do you work with your clients?
It depends on the individual. I like to have a conversation to find out who you are, what you want, and then make multiple suggestions. You get to choose what is your best fit.
Yeah.
And for women, sorry guys, like I always coach guys. I love guys. I always have guy coaching clients, but I have these retreats.
And I
that
love
are women
it.
only.
Yeah, say the name of it. I know we talked about at the beginning. It's a great name.
Right. I have one that I'm doing with another coach in October 19th and 20th. She's a love coach. I'm a relationship with money coach, and we are combining our superpowers to do an infinite love and money retreat at my house in Los Angeles. So it's going to be really small. It's
Amazing.
filling up really fast, but
Yeah.
I can't wait. And then next year is what I do once a year. And it's my favorite thing. And it's my number one millionaireess maker, which is my ultimate money goddess retreat in Bali. And it's a week-long retreat. And you can find a link to that on my website. I will have to post a link to the Infinite Love and Money on my
Okay.
website. I haven't done that. But if you type in infiniteloveandmoney.com, guess where that will send you? And the Money Goddess Retreat is beamoneygoddess.com. I'm throwing too many URLs. We'll
No, that's
sort
all
it out in the
right.
show notes.
Totally. And folks that
Okay,
are used to listening, you know where the show notes are. Pop over to legalwebsitewarrior.com/podcast. Look for Morgana Ray's episode, and we'll be sure to have all your links right there. I'm
thanks.
really excited to send some folks your way, and I think they're going to have a lot of fun listening to this episode and getting to know your work. Thank you again for joining us. I would love for you to share one, we covered a lot, but like, where's the first place for somebody to start? What would you love listeners to go do right now?
Um, where I would like you to start, because there's so much pressure to like high vibes only and positive thinking and like, the law of attraction police are going to knock on your door if you have
Yes.
negative thoughts. And what I really want you to do is just be kind and um honest with yourself about what's not working.
Mm.
Um and use that.
Mm.
Like go to my website and start with the 4-day money magnetic video series to get started on the process.
Yeah.
Uh, take yourself through it as best you can. Um, your victim experiences, and I say that because every human being has them in some way.
Mhm.
They are sacred and use them. It's like a slingshot. It's creating the leverage
Mhm.
to really create change and better results, then it's the key to everything you ever wanted. So
Mm.
maybe not as specific as you would have liked, but that's just what's coming up for me right now. Change happens at the speed of safety. If change isn't happening, what is not safe? Find what isn't working.
Yeah. No, I love that. And that I know you mentioned a phrase up above. I was just looking for, but it was about that. It was like, use it as your secret weapon, And I
Yeah.
think that invitation for people to be really kind to themselves in the process is very significant. We all can be very critical of ourselves and especially those parts that still bug us, right? The parts we
Yeah.
haven't gotten over that still bother us. And so
And that's, by the way, okay. Like, I don't want anybody suffering. I don't want anybody like ruminating in torment. And here's a secret. You can heal something and use it again. It's like you just come in life as you evolve, you come back to that pain point, whatever that life lesson is.
yeah.
And if you can milk anything out of it, do so. Even if you healed it long ago, if you can milk it, use it because you've paid the price of admission. And there's so much power, latent power available
Mhm.
to you
Mm.
in that experience. Don't waste it.
Yes, that's what you said. You've paid the price of admission. Use it.
Mhm.
Morgana Ray, it's so lovely to connect with you again. I knew we were going to have a great time on the podcast. I'm really grateful to have you in my circle now and super, super, super look forward to sharing this out to the world.
Thank you. Mwah.